Too many people waste too much of their life being trapped in the bondage of bitterness. Today I want to talk to you about how to be free from the prison of bitterness. The principle we want to learn is this: forgiveness is the key to a liberated soul. Jesus told a story in Matthew chapter 18 about a king that was auditing his books. And he found a man that worked for him had embezzled a massive amount of money, billions of dollars in today's currency, an amount that he would never possibly be able to repay. Now, what was commonly done is the king would then throw the man into debtor's prison, and he would work, and maybe he would be sold as a slave, his family members would be sold as slaves, and he would try to recoup as much money as he could, even though the amount that was owed was more than the man would ever be able to repay in his lifetime. But the man, knowing that he had nothing coming but punishment, went to the king and begged for mercy. Unexpectedly, the king granted him mercy and forgave his debt. He canceled the entire debt and let the man go completely free. What a wonderful thing. Forgiveness liberates a soul. But that's not the end of the story. You see, the man who was forgiven had a friend that owed him money. And he didn't owe him very much money, a couple $100s, but it was more than that man could ever think about repaying at that time. So he had him thrown into debtor's prison. Well, that's not good. What makes it even worse is the king heard about it and he wasn't happy. The king had forgiven that man a massive amount of debt, but that man had refused to forgive the other fellow even a small amount. This is what it says. Then his master, after he called him and said, "You wicked servant, I forgave you all that debt because you begged me. Should you not also have compassion on your fellow servant, just as I had pity on you?" His master was angry and delivered him over to the torturers until he should pay all that was due him. So that man he changed his position, and he had the man thrown into debtor's prison to be tortured. Failing to forgive others actually doesn't put them in prison. It puts you in prison to that other person. And it puts you in a place of torment, of torture. You allow yourself to be tormented with constant thoughts about them. You get this download of everything they ever did wrong, everything they ever said wrong, and you can't escape them. Even if they're not around, you're in prison to them because you're thinking about them. They impact your emotions, and ultimately they impact your health and your well-being. Failing to forgive other people is very, very costly. It only affects you spiritually and mars your relationship with God, but it also affects you emotionally. It makes you depressed and angry and discouraged. It also affects you physically. It releases all these toxic stress hormones that ultimately can affect your blood sugar, your heart, your levels of chronic pain, on and on. Failing to forgive other people hurts you. It puts you in prison. How do you get out of prison? The only thing that costs more than forgiving is not forgiving. You get out of prison by choosing to forgive. You say, well, how can I do that? It's very simple. In this story, realize God is like the king. We owe him a massive debt that we can never repay. Yet out of his mercy, he chose to forgive us, cancel the debt, and set us free. There are other people that have hurt us and they owe us. Well, we need to take the forgiveness we've received and extend it to them. I encourage you today to choose to forgive. Go to God and say, "God, I accept your forgiveness and I thank you. And God, I choose to extend that forgiveness to this person that has hurt me, to this person that has hurt me, and to this person that has hurt me." Set yourself free today. Choose to forgive others.